Lovely. Good morning. Let me get everything like perfectly situated. I am finishing up my hair and then I need to finish up my skincare and then I'll show you how I set my face so that it lasts all day and it looks absolutely smooth and flawless. Okay. I'm not doing anything fancy to my edges today. I am going to take a little bit of the Lotta Body Control Me Edge Gel in black. I'm just going to smooth them even more, even though they don't really need anything. I like this because it makes your edges look a little bit fuller and it smells really nice. It smells like all the other Lotta Body products in their coconut and shea oil line. I'm just taking my little edge toothbrush and just smoothing it straight on back. Like I said, we're not doing anything fancy today. I probably will end up washing my hair tonight, to be honest, because it's starting to feel dry and there's a little bit of buildup in it. So I have my first day. Well, I have my onboarding tomorrow at Ulta. So I want my hair to be nice. I'll probably just do a low ponytail, to be honest, and then transition into a stretch style, like a braid out. From there, low wash and go ponytail, and then turn it into a braid out. One of my favorite things to do with my hair. I also use this in the back. I just use it all around the perimeter of my hair as I smooth it all up. All right. The puff is looking kind of dry. We're going to spray it with some of the other Lotta Body oil real quick, but I like that this part looks nice and moist and smooth. So we're going to take the Illuminate Me Shine Mist from the same collection. And I'm going to just go in on the puff. And see if we can help her look a little more alive. I've really been liking this mist for my puff. Just remember that it's very oily. So if you're going to put on clothes that go over your head, cover your hair with something that so you don't ruin your clothes and get like little oil spots. Like it's very greasy. Look at my hands. It's very, very like greasy. It doesn't have silicone, so which is good. That's it for the puff. That's all I'm going to do to this puff. It's like I said, I'm probably going to wash it. Good morning. So I got to wash my hands because that stuff is so oily, but it does make your hair look shiny. The puff is, she's okay. All right, now that my hair is done, I can move on to the face. Already got my coffee made. I haven't even taken a sip yet. Thanks. That Lotta Body works. Even though it's dry, I need to wash it. I probably will wash it after school today. All right, I'm going to go in with the Urban Skin RX Even Tone Super Glow Serum. I really, really like this. I've been using this whole skincare line and my skin has changed drastically. As you can see, my dark spots are fading. Just look at how my skin already has a glow to it and I haven't even done anything to it yet. Like my skin is so much healthier. I've been loving these Urban Skin RX skincare products and they call themselves the melanin experts, which is why I was so interested in this line. But the main ingredients in here are 10% L-ascorbic acid and kojic acid. Basically, it smells like orange juice, kind of like fermented orange juice. And I just go and dot this under my eyes. Oh, you must work nights. I used to work nights from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. But yeah, I'm getting ready to start my day. Yeah, I've worked every shift ever in life, and I'm only 26. I accidentally took my nose ring out in my sleep. Like when I was waking up, I like slid my face across the pillow and actually drew blood this time because it's sharp and it like poked a little hole next to it. Not all the way through my nose, of course, but like, gotta be more careful with this nose ring. I'm not used to it yet. Okay. That's a very good question. I'm not sure if they're Black owned. I know they're founded by a white woman. At least their main scientist is a white woman named Rachel Roth. But I can't remember if they're owned by Black people. Maybe they just hired her to work along the other side, other Black people to create the skincare line. But they're available at Target and Ulta, and I believe also maybe Walgreens or something like that. It's like mid-range. I don't know. You have to read the website. I can't remember. I read all the statistics and stuff on March 2nd when I first started to use the products, but they have been working. So I don't have a problem with Black people owning something and then hiring a few white people to work alongside other people of color to create something awesome. I have no problem with that. That's collaborating. That's a collaboration. But it definitely works. The products have definitely been working for me. So now I have to wait a little bit while this kind of sinks in, and then I have to go in some sunscreen, and then I can start primer and foundation. I don't know. I would have to look it up all over again. I don't feel like it. My hands feel sticky. I literally wash my hands like 6 times a day before I even leave my house. That's why teachers have such dry hands. We're always washing. All right, I have outdoor recess duty today. Oh, thank you. No pregnancy. There's a lot of people who be like, are you pregnant? No, I'm not pregnant. I don't plan to be pregnant for like at least 3 more years. All right. I like the Neutrogena Sport Face Oil-Free. I can't even read this sunscreen. Broad spectrum SPF 70 plus. It won't clog your pores. It's water resistant and resist sweat off. This is what I normally use during band camp. You can see it looks very beat up, and that's because my dog got to it and she chewed it up a little bit. You can like see the bite marks in there. I love this sunscreen. I love Neutrogena sunscreen. It does not break me out. It's the only sunscreen that I trust to use on my face. And I don't get flashback either because this is like under quite a bit of makeup. You'll see. So I'm going to take about that much. And it's very thick, so it spreads pretty easy. Take that much. And then I just go in and rub it in. I've never used the Ole Hendrickson serum. Ah, this sunscreen's great. Thank you, Neutrogena. There goes my dog barking. Somebody must be coming down the stairs. And yes, I get the sunscreen like all up on my eyes, under my eyes. I have to make sure I don't neglect the sides of my face because I have dark spot here and one over here, literally symmetrical. And I don't look ashy either after that sunscreen. Thanks, Neutrogena. Neutrogena. Okay. I have on sunscreen. I'm going to prime using the Touch and Soul No Pore Bone Primer. I really like this. It came in BoxyCharm, so I've been using it every day. I have not been using any other primers other than this one because I've been kind of lazy. I also find that I don't need as much priming. Since I started using this skincare, like the quality of my skin is better. Okay. I just used one pump of that. I feel like I got sunscreen in my eye, but you know, it happens. This literally happens to me every single day during band camp. It's in my right eye. I have to, since I have so many dark spots and I'm actively trying to lighten them. And the bright light does not help when you get sunscreen in your eye. I have like one bright light on me. I just moved it upward, so it's not like directly in my face. I feel like I should wear some shades. Oh, the memories. I just recently started wearing sunscreen again. I really like it. It's pretty good. I'm going to do a foundation flashback to the Wet n Wild photo focus. Like, I'm legit crying out of this eye now. It's okay, you know? Such is life. Oh, my poor eye. You see how red it is now? She's irritated. Don't get sunscreen in your eye. Hopefully the shade matches me. I'm not sure if it will or not. We're going to find out. If I can stop crying. I promise you I'm not sad. I'm actually quite happy. But I don't want to put this on and then my eye's still watering. Okie doke. That's enough shaking. I have the shade 379 Mahogany, which I believe is their darkest shade. Let's just see. That looks like it's going to be a little light. So I'm just going to swipe a little bit of that. Kind of in the center of my face. And then we're going to go with something darker around the perimeter. And now my nose starts running. I start crying. My nose starts running. It's not that bad to where I need to rinse it out. My nose always starts running while I film. Let's see. I'm going to mix this with... I'm going to mix this foundation with the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Up to 24-Hour Foundation in the shade that's a little bit too dark for me. This is Deep Amber. It's a little bit darker than my skin tone. I normally have to mix 530 with 525. So I'm just going to take small amounts of this and kind of dot it around the perimeter. Just so that I don't make a mess. Yeah, this comes off way too dark for me when I use it alone on my face. Like, it looks like it's kind of gonna match now, but it's not my shade. I have to mix it with Deep Golden. That should be plenty. So I probably used just one full pump just now. And I'm gonna go in with the Sonia Kashuk sponge. I can put the light back on me now. My eye is fine. Sonia Kashuk sponge, and I'm gonna go in and blend this out. And blend the two together. Oh, I meant to not go over my lid. Oh well. I guess I'll put something on my lid too. And I like both these foundations because they're very lightweight on the skin. Yes, I love it. It's great. It's so lightweight on the skin. And what I'm going to get from these two mixed together is a medium coverage. And I feel like they just blend really fast and really easy. So I have a medium coverage. You can still see my imperfections peeking through. You probably can't on camera, but in person I can. But it's very lightly, so I'm cool with that. Yeah, so drive safe. And I hope you get some good rest today when you finally make it home. Thank you for listening. So I just use a sponge and I blend it into my skin. For school every day when I'm not working at Ulta, I don't mind medium coverage. I don't mind if my imperfections peek through a little bit. To me, these are very skin-like. They just look really good and really natural on the skin. They don't look too made up. They don't look cakey or anything like that. But they do provide some good coverage. And I'm still blending just to make sure. All right. I kind of do want a little bit more coverage just on my cheeks, but I don't mind the forehead and like my temple area. So to achieve that, I'm going to take a little bit more of the Wet n Wild, which is a spatula application or applicator. Can't speak English today. Yeah, the struggle. I just added a little bit more of that. Yep, and that added just a little bit more coverage. I'm just pressing this into my skin. Yes, I'm back at Ulta. So excited. I love working for Ulta. It's great. It's an amazing company, and I'm not just saying that because I work there and I've worked there before, but it actually is, which is why I was trying so hard to get back to working there. Also gonna go lightly over my ears, slightly behind my ears, and make sure I get under the chin. All right, I'm done blending out foundation. It looks very smooth and very even now. And this is what most people wanted to see. I got a specific request to show how I set my face. I'm now done with this Sonia Kashuk sponge. I only use it for foundation, which is why I like the top is so clean and the sides are so clean. And the only part that ever gets dirty is the bottom. So I only use it to blend out my foundation. Fun fact, I really like it for foundation. I'm now going to transition to the Real Techniques face sponge, but this is the body one. So it's the same exact shape, just really big. And this is what I like to use to apply my powder. This is the new technique that I've been doing, and it has been working amazingly. So first, I start with a powder that will highlight my face, so one that's lighter than my skin tone, but matches my undertone. So something that's on the golden side, or at least neutral. I have more golden undertones. Real Techniques? No, Jeffree Star has a collection with Morphe, which I don't have that many Morphe brushes. I'm not impressed with Morphe brushes at all. But you're talking about just Ulta in general is on a timeout because of Jeffree Star? All right, so I'm going to carefully pick this powder up on the flat side of the sponge. And I'm going to do a little bit at a time. And I like to set my eyelid and under my eye first. And the sponge is damp. I just freshly washed it. I'm going to keep adding powder and pressing it into my skin. I also like to make sure I get my eyebrow and just my whole eye and under eye area. Oh, no, Ulta? Ulta is on a timeout. Okay. So the damp sponge helps it to sink into your skin better. And to the touch, my skin doesn't feel dry. Because one thing about this Fenty Beauty powder is that under the eyes, it can look very dry. So I need to figure out a way to apply it that also kind of has some moisture to it. And using a damp sponge has worked wonders. And now my under eyes don't look dry anymore. And I just feel like the powder applies better and it just meshes with everything a lot better when you use the damp sponge. It also is kind of a little bit less messy because the sponge is damp, so the powder doesn't fly everywhere because it's adhered to your damp sponge. Again, damp sponge is the major key. I'm going to take a little bit more. Always setting the eyebrow area, especially if you have oily brows. My eyebrows tend to get oily. And that's pretty much it nowadays. It's so strange. I used to go from having more like truly all oily all over skin to, as I got older, as in like 25 and up, which I'm only 26, I had more combination skin. I started to get a few dry patches like on the perimeter of my face. And now that I've been using this new skincare, my skin is pretty much either normal or more dry. I also like to set my chin with this and around my mouth. Okay. So here's what I'm looking like. You can tell clearly the places that are not set and the places that are. I really like this powder though. I did remove some of the foundation in the process of blending. That's okay. All right, I'm done with the Fenty Beauty powder. I mostly just use it for my eyelids and my under eyes. That's the main thing I really want to set in my eyelids with this. For the rest of my face, I go with a powder that is closer to my skin tone. And I've been mixing the, excuse me guys, my nose is running. I've been mixing the Glossier Wowder with the Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation in the shade Rich Sand. So this one is in the shade Rich, which is my actual skin tone. And this is in the shade Rich Sand, which is a little bit lighter than my skin, but has that golden yellow undertone. So I'm going to mix those both together. And I forgot that I have to mix them in the Fenty Beauty cap. Let me show you this cap. It's great for mixing because look how flat it is and how wide it is. I mean, compared to my hand. So it's great to like mix your powders in this cap. And it's not too deep, so you don't have to worry about, you know, you can get your sponge or your brush in there completely flat. That's one great thing about this design. So I'm just going to mix these two powders together in the cap. I'm going to use just a little bit of the Wowder. It tends to kind of oxidize on me, I found. So just a little bit of Wowder. And I cut the mesh on it so that it can come out easier because your girl, I don't know. I just don't like to fool with it. I don't know. I just like stuff to come out. I kind of like to be quick, but not too quick, you know? So I have the Wowder in there. And now I'm going to add the Tarte powder, which also has a mesh that I need to cut. All right. And now I'm just going to mix the two together and you'll see that it's a nice brown color like me. And I just kind of mix the two together, slowly shake it side to side. And with the same sponge, damp sponge, I go into this concoction and I press this into the skin around the perimeter of my face. And this is going to look very crazy at first, you know, but just it comes together. Just trust. But yes, skincare is very important. And of course, you know, Wowder, their whole campaign, I think like 2 years ago, was Wowder is not a powder or something like that. I forget all the details of that, but it works great. I used to not like it because I tried it on its own and it just like oxidized on me and got really, really dark and made me look very scary. But now that I've been mixing it and applying it with the damp sponge, my results have been great using it. So I go and I press all this in with the sponge, and then kind of whatever's left over is when I take my first brush that I'm going to use. This is a BH Cosmetics 123. It's just a flat top brush. It's fairly soft, and I go in and I brush away any excess powder and kind of buff it into the skin. Now, after you apply all this powder, because I apply a lot because I don't like to touch up during the day, you will look powdery, just so you know. So you're going to have to spray your face if you like that. For me, I just let the natural oils come through throughout the day. And then by the time I'm ready to go to bed and take my makeup off, I'm good, so that I don't have to touch up during the day. You'll also notice that my face isn't completely dull and flat because the sponge is damp and it has some moisture to it. But yeah, this is how I set my face, and the makeup is not going anywhere. And I love that I don't have to touch up. I don't like to have to worry about my makeup while I'm teaching and stuff. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. I literally don't even look at the mirror while I'm at school usually, unless I'm gonna take some selfies and I have like really cute makeup on, which is not super, super often, especially since we were preparing for a concert. Then I take my brush and whatever powder did like fall onto my countertop, I try to pick it up with the brush so that I don't waste. And if you saw my skin in person, you could see clearly where the darker powder was applied and how right under my eyes and the lower part of my forehead and brows is slightly highlighted. On my camera, you can't really see because I don't have the most high quality camera. I'm recording on a MacBook Pro, but in person, you can really see the dimension using 2 different shades of powder has added to my face. But you can definitely see the smoothness that this technique adds to my skin, which I love. And I'm starting to get hot. I'm gonna take my bathrobe off. So I've been loving these 2 loose powders mixed together. Again, Wowder and then Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation powder. I love these 2 mixed together to set my face. All right. All right, all the powders have been closed. Loose powders are a little bit more messy, but I don't know. I feel like they give a better appearance to the skin, like up close. So after my powders, I normally take a makeup wipe and I just clean up any powder that fell on the sink. These are Clorox disinfecting wipes, by the way. Not sponsored. Like I even need to say that, but I think it's funny. I also clean off my computer. I have to clean as I go, guys. Like that's just my personality. I kind of like to clean as I go. I put everything back as I make my videos as well. Like I don't leave stuff out. I have to put it away. All right. Also, the combination of those 2 powders does help to add a little bit of coverage to my skin. So that's why I don't mind using like more of a medium coverage foundation when I know I'm using my loose powders, because in the end, I end up with like a medium plus coverage where my imperfections are barely peeking through. And then I just go over with the sponge if I feel like I need it. The damp sponge just to keep blending. I'm getting annoyed with my hair. Like my edges over here is curling up. I don't know if y'all can see that. No, stop. Next, I go in and I highlight and I finish my face first. Like before I even know what I'm doing with my eyes, normally I'll finish like highlight, blush, contour, all that bronzer if I'm going to do that stuff. Normally for school, I don't do all that stuff. But for the sake of this video, I'll show you a few of my favorite things. So for me, when it comes to bronzer, since I am dark skinned, I'm like, I don't wear MAC because it breaks me out, but I would say I'm like a NW48, NW47 in that range. And Fenty, I'm like a 445 is actually kind of dark on me, but 440 is not the right color. And I feel like if I wore 430, it'd be too light. I'm like a Maybelline 360. Sometimes I can wear 368. In the summer, I can wear 370. In NARS, let me tell you some foundations that match me perfectly. NYX Stay Matte, no. NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop in the shade Cocoa matches me perfectly. Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear in the shade 8.25 Cool Walnut matches me perfectly. NARS, which I've used over half of this. New Caledonia Dark 2 matches me perfectly. And my Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream in the shade Mahogany matches me perfectly. So those are some perfect shade matches. So there's not really a lot of bronzers for people my shade out here in the world that I'm willing to pay for. So they're probably at a price range that I'm not comfortable with. So my favorite thing to use are the Black Radiance Matte Press Powders. When I want more of a contour, so something more cool toned, I use Rich Mahogany. When I want something more warm, I use the shade Ebony. So I'm going to use Ebony today for more of a bronzy look. I also just love Black Radiance powders. I like to use this brush. This is a Christian Siriano collaboration with, I can't remember what, is it Wet n Wild maybe? I don't know, but I like this brush a lot for this. And as you can see, I've hit pan on it. So this is the shade Ebony. And as you can see, it's very subtle. I don't like anything too much, but it has more of a red undertone. So it comes out more as like a bronzer. And it's actually really pretty. Why do I feel like you can't see it at all? But I can see it. Oh, yay. I'm glad you made it home safely. All right, I don't end up putting too much of this on, and when I turn my bright light off, it's like, whoa. And most of the time, I don't really go on my forehead and all that. I feel like that's doing the most. You can do that if you like. Sometimes I will go down the sides of my nose, like nothing fancy or too precise. And then with whatever's left over, I might go on the lower part of my forehead because we do want this forehead to look smaller because I have a large forehead. But that's like the extent of me like bronzing most of the time. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not too much. I can actually see a distinct line right here where I didn't blend very well. I don't think you guys can see on my camera, but in person I can see a line. Let me blend that out. For blush, if I'm gonna wear a shimmery blush, this is very natural. I don't really like too much. Or I'll go in with Rich Mahogany, which is darker and a little bit more cool tone. If I wear a shimmery blush, normally I don't wear highlights. So I think that's what I'm going to do today, just because it's quick. And one of my favorites I got in BoxyCharm is from Laura Geller. They're Baked and Brighten, or Baked Blush and Brighten in the shade Tropic Hues. Yeah, I have it before. I don't really care about it. This curl over here is really annoying me. Like, why? I love Black Radiance powders, and I love the contour kit. I do have the contour kit, but I don't want to open it yet. I need to use the other stuff I have open. I love this blush. It's shimmery. I like to use the e.l.f. blush brush. I mean, not e.l.f., the Ulta blush brush. This brush is awesome. Whoa, I just went in with a lot. Whoa. Let me blend that out. So this has a shimmer to it, as you can see. But it's also pink, so I don't add highlight when I wear this because this is enough. Can you see that subtle pinkness, the subtle blush? It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I normally like to do my whole face and then I go in and do my brows. I will also use this like as a highlighter, so I'll put some in my brow bone area using the same brush because I like to use as minimal amount of tools as possible. Because the less tools, the less I have to wash. But I mean, do you see how subtle it is? But it's pretty. It gives such a nice glow. And the tone of pink isn't like overbearing, you know? This is one of the best things I've gotten in BoxyCharm. And I'll also take a little bit down the bridge of my nose. Take it over your whole face. All right, so that's my skin done. I'm not going to do anything else to my face. You can spray with the setting spray if you want, but normally I just let my natural oils come in throughout the day to ensure I don't have to touch up. But that is literally how I set my face. I use a damp sponge. I use loose powders. I use pressed powders for blush and contour bronzer. And that's pretty much it. Like, it's not too complicated. And if I use a shimmery blush, then I don't use highlighter. So yeah, that's that. So for the people that wanted to just see how I do that portion, then you can stop watching. I'm going to go ahead and just finish my face on camera and fix my hair on camera because this is annoying. I have this piece sticking out. It's annoying me. Hopefully it'll just stay with some water. Some water and a toothbrush will hopefully make it stay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish my face. Sometimes I'll wait until the very end to do my eyebrows, and I think that's what I'm gonna do today. For my lids, I'm gonna do something very simple. I'm gonna go into the Desi and Katy Friendcation palette, and I'm gonna take the shade Just a Kiss, which is their glittery kind of lid topper. This one, this gold. With my finger, I'm just gonna apply that to my lid. It's really pretty. It has gold glitter, kind of like burgundy glitter in here as well. It's very pretty. And it's a quick way to get a super simple eye look. This is one of my signature things I do. I don't go in with any transition shade. I don't deepen up the outer corner. I don't do any of that. I just put this on my lid or something similar to it on the lid. With my finger. I have several shades like this that I could have used, but I just gravitated towards this palette because it was the closest thing. I didn't have to get up. I didn't have to think about it. You see how that looks on the lids? It is so pretty. I have no idea what I'm teaching today. Let me just throw that out there because it's after a performance. I think that's so pretty. And then any fallout that's under my eye, I just brush it away with the same powder brush from earlier. If you want to highlight your inner corner, you can. If you want to add something to the lower lash line, you can. I think I am going to add something to the lower lash line, but I'm not going to add anything to my inner corner. Let me find my favorite brush. The same brush I always use. I have this little detailed brush. Let's do something kind of fun. I'm going to use this shade Girl Bye, which is this matte like burgundy shade. I'm going to put that on my lower lash line just for something interesting. Somewhat of a pop of color. I'm using a Coastal Scents little detailed brush. Don't know what it's really called. The same brush I always use. Just to add some sort of color, something easy. And like I said, the lid shade has glitter in it. That is this color. So it kind of just brings the eyes together, but something super quick, super fast. I'm not going to do any liner. I'm going to take some more of the lid shade. Make sure you work it into your crease though if you are just going to use this so that it kind of like fades up into nothing. All right. That's eyeshadow done. I look very strange without brows. Like I said, sometimes I will do those completely last. So now I'm going to go in with mascara. I'm going to use the Too Faced mascara that I got in BoxyCharm. It is hot. I need to take this bathrobe off because your girl is hot. Too Faced mascara. Thank you, Lori. Why is my nose running? Literally every time I even make up, my nose runs or my eye starts to water. Something usually just doesn't go quite right. Or it's just like annoying, you know? I'm trying my best not to get this on my lid, but I always get a little bit on my left eye, like at the base. But it's okay. This mascara is very, very black, so the contrast is going to be really nice with the light shimmery lid. And also going to put some on the lower lashes. Carefully. All right, this is coat number 1. We're gonna go in, do the brows, and come back and do a second coat of this mascara, and then lips. What do I want to do for lips today? Well, when a little bit too much mascara gets on your lower lashes. Oh, okay. Well, they just want to be disobedient. All right, so we'll come back and do another coat of mascara. But the look is almost done. I look so strange without my eyebrows because my eyebrows are relatively thin. They've been that way my whole life. You can check my baby pictures. Don't come for me. I've never plucked my eyebrow ever in my life. Have I ever plucked my? There's nothing there to pluck. But I am gonna brush through them with a spoolie, just so that they're all kind of going the same direction. As you can see, they're thin. They're naturally thin. I've never plucked them. If you see my dad, he has thin eyebrows. If you meet my mother, she also has thin eyebrows. So it's genetic. Which is why whenever I go get my nails done, or if I go with my friends and they're getting their eyebrows waxed, the ladies are like, "Do you want an eyebrow wax?" And I'm like, there's nothing to wax. There's like no little hairs underneath or whatever. Like they're just this thin, which makes them very easy to fill in. I like to use the Wet n Wild retractable eyeliner pencil. That was very dramatic, but I'm hot. That looks like this. And I like to use black. They say don't use black, you know. I'm dark skinned. I want my eyebrows to show up on my face. So I like to use black. Okay. If you don't like it, don't do it. Look, it's already coming into formation with one line. I'm using very light pressure. Look at that. That one line just made a difference. Okay, we have one line underneath. I'm going to kind of go to the top area. And the inside a little bit. And if you wonder why, like, why are your eyebrows, like, I've had people ask me, why do you fill your eyebrows in so thin? I'm like, because they're naturally thin. If I make them super thick, that's gonna look even more fake than what they already look, because they ain't real. So I kind of just keep with the natural shape that's there and make it like the tiniest bit thicker. Yeah, there's no rules, but like some people will try and come for you. But you stay like in my Instagram photos though. With people that want to try and judge me. So very much like I feel like Amber and I, we both don't spend a lot of time on our brows and we just keep it very simple with our brows. I think we both use pencil as well. Now mine are not as natural as hers, but she's got more hair than I do in her brows. I also like my brows to be a little bit darker and more defined because like they literally you can't see them on my skin. I do extend them this way a little bit. Then I go in and we start to make little hair-like strokes that sometimes look great and sometimes look awful. Just depends on the day. Yep, that's her motto is to keep it simple. I just say, I mean, just don't make it complicated. Like, go with what you naturally have because that's kind of going to be what probably flatters you best because it's what naturally kind of occurs on your face. Does that make sense? Like, you don't need to create a new face or create a new brow. Like, just go with what's kind of there. So, there you go. I just go in and darken the tail. And those are my brows. They actually came out very nice today. Sometimes they don't come out as symmetrical. But I really like the way they came out today. Thank you, Jesus. Last for my brows, sometimes I'll go in with an old mascara. This is like a really old Black Radiance mascara. And I'll just go through and brush through them with the old mascara to kind of set the tiny few hairs I have in place. The very thin hairs I have in place. And just to blend the product in better. It's the equivalent of using a spoolie, basically. This has a little bit of color to it. And those are my brows. All right. And I always just like to brush through the middle just to make sure that, I don't know, I just like to do that. Thank you. Now time for lips, and then we're done with the face. Oh, I need to do another coat of mascara. So while I do another coat of mascara, hopefully you guys can see the subtle blush, the subtle contour, how everything is kind of soft. This is kind of how I like to wear my makeup for school, especially on Monday because I'm usually tired and lazy, but I still want to be somewhat cute. And it's supposed to be kind of warm today. So, you know, I might wear a dress. I shaved my legs and everything yesterday. So I'm trying to be somewhat cute today. So I'm not mad at this look. Just going in with one more coat of mascara and then I'm done with my eyes. All right, for lips, what are we gonna do today? What are we gonna do today? Do I want a gloss? We're going to use, this is a really pretty color. It's kind of more of a fall color, but we're going to wear it anyway. Hold on, let me chug some coffee. Yes, thank you. My stomach is growling. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I normally don't eat breakfast though. I'm not a breakfast person. Like, I don't know. I'm basically a professional intermittent faster. And that's a bad habit I picked up from college. So I've just continued into my adulthood. Okay, the lipstick I'm going to wear is a NYX Intense Butter Gloss in the shade Chocolate Apple. I don't know if you guys have seen anybody wear this shade, but this is one of my favorite NYX Intense Butter Glosses because you'll see the color. It is such a pretty, unique color. I have nothing like this color. And I feel like it's going to go with the look, especially since I have that burgundy kind of on my lower lash line. I think it's going to bring everything together. Again, this is called Chocolate Apple NYX Intense Butter Gloss. It's like a brownish red. It's really pretty. And I like to blend with my fingers so that I don't end up with too much lip gloss on, because that could be a struggle, especially at school, because I talk a lot and playing the recorder and stuff. All right, this is the look. This is not what I was planning to do today at all. At all. But I really like the way this turned out. I feel like it's really, really pretty. And you got to see how I set my face and how everything kind of comes together in the end. And now I'm going to get really close, so you can see my skin up close. And my nose ring that I stabbed myself with. See the points on it? So other side, you can see this side of my face is much smoother. I also don't have as much ice pick scarring on this side. Ice pick scarring is like the little holes that you get in your face. Like I have it over here, like a bunch. But you kind of can't even really see it. Here you go. It's like right here. My skin has gotten so much better. Here are the eyes and my brows. But yeah, so that's the look. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing it close up and seeing how everything comes together. And I still feel like even with all the powder I put on, you can see how my skin still has a sheen to it. It doesn't look, in person, I don't look powdery. I don't look cakey at all. And I didn't use a setting spray because that damp sponge, I'm telling you, try it out. Try applying your powders with a damp sponge and see how it changes the finish, especially if you have normal to combination oily skin. I don't know how that will work with people that have like true dry skin, but try it out. Hope you enjoyed this live. I am right on time. It's 6:30. I try and leave by like 6:45. So perfect timing. I hope you guys have a magnificent and marvelous Monday. And I will see you in the next video, whenever that'll be. I don't know. Bye.